Selling your house can be a big deal. So what are the most important things you can focus on right now if you're thinking of selling your house this year? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Alright, so hey guys, welcome back. This is Sztanyo from Keller Williams Realty and TeamStanyo.com, where we are helping you build a bridge to your future real estate dreams. So if you are in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky and you're thinking, I'm going to sell my house this year, that can be a big thought. That can be an overwhelming thought. It can be a bit daunting, and you kind of think, well, where do I start with that? I have so much work to do. And so that's what we want to focus on in this video. We're going to give you 4 tips, 4 things to focus on if you're thinking about selling your house this year, whether it's springtime or any time of the year, so that you can get ready. And we're going to help you. We want to help you get the most money for your house, sell the fastest, and have the least amount of hassle as you're getting ready to sell your house. So let's talk about it. Okay, so the number one thing you want to do is determine a listing date and work backwards from that date. So you do this in all other things in your life, right? If you're setting a goal, you're trying to accomplish a task in your life, you're going to plan a future date of where that deadline is, that goal, and then you're going to work backwards. So it's the same thing with your house. If you're thinking of selling your house this year, what you want to do is come up with a time period, right? Come up with an exact day that you tell your real estate agent, hey, we're planning on listing on this day. Once you have that day set, you can work back and start to figure out all the other tasks you have to do in order to get the house ready to list it on that date. So the nice thing about this is you're in complete control. You're setting the time frame here. You don't have to be rushed. But when you plan ahead like this, it allows you a little bit of breathing space and a little bit of time to think about all the tasks that need to be done ahead of time. It also puts that deadline on you so that you get in gear and start working and cranking out these tasks. So that's number one, determine a listing date and work backwards. Okay, so the second thing you want to do if you're going to sell your house in Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky this year is get somebody else's eyes on your house. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you're living in your house day in and day out, you become used to all the things that might be slightly wrong, and you don't see some of the problem areas that a buyer might see as they're walking through your house. So, this could be a real estate agent to walk through, or this could just be a really good friend or family member, and you especially want to get someone who can be lovingly truthful with you, right? Who can be honest with you and say, hey, you know what, that broken tile in the bathroom, or that hole in the drywall, whatever it is, they're going to spot things that you might have gotten used to. And so it's really helpful to have, a lot of people don't think about this, but bring in someone or several someones that and have them walk through, like, hey, we're thinking about listing our property. Would you take like a half hour and walk through our house? Or even when you have guests come by, and they can probably rattle off a few things. They're like, oh, you might want to get that fixed, and probably not the so obvious ones that you need to get fixed or taken care of, but some of the not so obvious items that you just become accustomed to and look over. So that's step number 2, is get somebody else's eyes on it. Okay, step number 3, if you're getting ready to sell your house this year, is get rid of the clutter. Okay, if you go on a site like Zillow or Trulia or whatever, and just take a look at recent homes nearby that have sold for a higher amount than some of the other homes that have sold recently. Just do a search on that and take a look at the photos. And what you're going to see over and over again is the homes that tend to sell for more, they look very clean. They look very crisp. There's not a lot of junk lying around the house. Sometimes they'll actually move out of the house, and then maybe they'll even stage it so it's just maybe one chair in the room and one picture on the wall. But when you're living in a home, you're not thinking about this. But when you're getting ready to list your property, you want to try to get rid of all of the clutter you can. Make it as minimal as possible and as clean as possible, so that when those potential buyers do come in, they don't want to see your family photos. They don't want to see all this stuff that's accumulated over the years. They want to be able to imagine themselves in your home. So I know when you think about that, you're like, oh, I've got to get rid of stuff, I got to throw away stuff, or I got to get storage. And I know that can be frustrating and it can seem like a lot of work. But here's kind of a pro tip, a way to think about this in terms of declutterizing your house. Think about it not so much like you have to do all this work on the front end in order to list your property. Think about it that you're actually doing pre-moving, right? If you're selling your house, you're going to be moving to another home, whether that's locally or maybe in another city or somewhere else, and you've got to do all this work anyway. So, going back to, if you want to sell your house for the most money, sell it, have it listed for the least amount of time and have the least amount of hassle in it, then think about, you're basically pre-moving right now. That if you just put it in that category as opposed to I've got to clean my house and declutter it, it's actually pretty helpful, because you can think, yeah, I'm actually, not only am I going to probably sell this house for more money because it's cleaner, but I'm getting a jump start on the move that's to come. So that's a really helpful thing in terms of getting ready to sell your house. So step number 3, get rid of the clutter. Okay, fourth and final step, if you're thinking about selling your house this year in Cincinnati, is start painting, right? So here, let's play it back. First of all, you've determined a listing date and you're working backwards from that date. You've got someone else's eyes on it and got their opinions, and you've known what to fix up. Then you're getting rid of all the clutter. Step number 4 is you want to start painting. And along with painting, there always comes a certain amount of patching, right? Putting putty on the walls and sanding it off. And then when you think about paint colors, it might be really helpful to bring in a real estate agent at this point, or even maybe someone who stages houses for a living, because these colors can tend to shift over time. Really popular in 2016, 2017, we're in early 2018 now, have been the khakis, but a lot of the grays, the light shaded grays. And I talked to a staging person recently. She said that's starting to shift a little bit more, even into these off-whites from the grays, because everyone was doing gray. So those things change over time, but typically what you want to do is focus on something light and neutral, right? Again, what you're trying to do is create an atmosphere that when somebody comes into the house, it feels warm, it feels light, clean, inviting, and they can picture themselves in the house. So the nice thing about painting is it doesn't take too much time and it doesn't cost that much money, but it goes a long way in getting your house ready to sell. So that's step number 4, which is start painting the house. All right, so let's recap, guys. If you're thinking about selling your Cincinnati house or Northern Kentucky house this year, what are the most important things you can focus on right now to get ready? So again, step number 1, determine a listing date and work backwards. Step number 2, get someone else's eyes on it to help you focus on those things that you can fix up. Step number 3, get rid of the clutter, get it clean. And step number 4, get some nice, new, fresh paint on those walls. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you guys are looking to sell your house this year, give us a call over at Team Sztanyo and Keller Williams Realty. We would love to come talk to you and figure out how we can help sell your house for the most money, the least amount of time, and the least amount of hassle. We love helping people in our city sell their houses and help bridge them to their future real estate dreams. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you next time.